Teams had success. Left enough flexibility in the game plan because we always do, but this week especially, not knowing who was going to be available, that as we lost Caden in the game, you saw a lot more of Cunningham playing that kind of jumbo tight end and able to go ahead and create some situations that we could run to favorable looks and create situations that we wanted to see certain looks on the field from their defense.
What's the difference in this defense the last 3 weeks? I think really you look way more the last 3 weeks kind of like you did last year, whereas early in the season you didn't.
I see the team as a whole, but, directly, on your question about the defense, I just see guys improving. When you talk about, what helps you improve, to me, you just keep it simple. You go back to what's really important in this game. It's fundamentals. You go back to playing with, good zone vision, good man leverage, good breaks on the ball, good footing, good anticipation, not having bad penalties within the game. We got to keep playing with better pre-snap focus and post-snap execution. We got to keep doing a good job of that. But in terms of this defense of why they're, improving in terms of, doing it, to me, it comes back to just how they stay committed to working every week. One thing I've seen a lot of the situational improvements of, red zone defense improving throughout the season, the 2-minute defense improving throughout the season, finding different ways of creating pressure, or if we're not getting a lot of pressure, having coverage combinations to change it up. The other thing, too, is these guys are really learning how to communicate and work and play next to each other. Pat had a couple calls that he literally drew up in the sand. We talked about it last night in the staff meeting. Whatever we got to do. We understand who this team is in offense, defense, kicking game. You got to make an adjustment. Get it. I don't want to come out of this game and have if we could only get to this call, what helped us. So Pat and the staff sat there. They drew up a couple calls on the sideline. The guys understood the fundamentals of how to play it, communicated well, and they were able to go ahead and make some plays on it. That was big for us.
Joe, you came into this game with only 2 running backs. One halfback and one fullback. So when Booker goes down, do you in your back of your head think, oh boy, now we only got one. It's a fullback.
Well, Cullen can play as well too. Cullen Gillespie is, he works all the time in practice. He's played for us in preseason as far as scrimmage stuff. Yeah, this guy can play too. So, everybody's accountably productive at their position. So in terms of coming to the game, we came in with 3 backs. So it was Booker, Penny, and Cullen. So they were all ready to go.
The fact that when you were going to run the ball, and Eli was the only one back there to run the ball, he gets, 21 yards on 2 carries where, everyone knows what's coming sort of. How with an offensive line that often does not able to do that, how satisfying is that you get on the field range with that kind of scenario?
It shows to me we're becoming a balanced team. And balanced teams can run when they have to run and throw when they have to throw. And that was a situation in the game where we had to go ahead and run as much time off the clock, be productive moving the ball, try to keep their offense off the field. So it became obviously in that situation, not that we didn't throw it, we did throw it, but it became more of a primary. We want to run the ball and be productive moving the ball. That Eli did a good job as far as breaking tackles and extending the offensive line. The tight ends did a good job as far as getting it going and making the blocks and moving them off the line of scrimmage, take advantage of it. Look, we have confidence. All the time, we have confidence in all of our players. We really do. I don't blink no matter who's in the game. When they come over and they tell me Booker's down, my thought process is he okay? I'm never worried about, oh no, he's out, who's in. To me, it's okay. They all prepare. If they're at the game, they should be prepared.
So you mentioned Pat to run some plays up in the dirt. Were any of those on that last drive?
Yes.
Anything particular you can mention?
I'm not going to go too specific into it, but he had a couple calls that he made adjustments on the bench before going out to that last drive. You talk about, the guy that was killing us is Waller. That guy's a good player now. They're finding this guy all the way down the field and seams and all that stuff. He's a big target. He's got good hands. He's very fast and athletic. Obviously, and then, Renfro early in the game too. Those 2 guys, they're an issue to deal with. And then you start tying in the backs. You got to focus on 83 and 13. And Richie did a good job with Greg and those guys, obviously making the adjustments, and Carr finding the backs underneath. So they kind of created the handoffs by just through the checkdowns.
This is a quick follow. You guys have obviously had some difficulties in fourth quarters this year. It's hard for guys, maybe that's maybe in the back of guys' minds or not. What did you make of that last defensive stand? Because that's a pretty stressful time.
Yeah, obviously that was a big part of the game, to end the game that way, end it with a turnover, and I'm always talking through all the scenarios. So as that's happening, I'm clicking back and forth and talking to Jason. Okay, Jason, I'm going to use a timeout coming up here. Just be thinking about if we're down, okay, is it a tie game? Are we down by 1 if they go for 2? And we got 2 timeouts. Let's think about getting in range for a field goal. Let's think about what we need. Start going through the menu. Clicking back over on the defense. Okay, what are we thinking here? One of them, we want to call a timeout based on seeing what they're going to do. So, I used that timeout in that instance to make sure that we had an understanding of offensively what they were looking for out of that personnel grouping, what they wanted schematically to match us with. And that was something that matched up into what Pat was kind of drawing up on the sideline. So we had kind of a new call, new personnel grouping from them. We wanted to make sure that we were on the same page. Ended up being productive for us overall.
What did you see from O'Shea? Obviously, he's come on the last couple of weeks, but that final play from your eyes? Did you see the play as it was happening? Or?
Yeah, I could see him kind of, making his way and getting to the block and getting to him. But I'd say this guy just works hard. I mean, he's a guy that when you watch his tape coming out, we liked him. Obviously, we didn't get him in the draft, went to Pittsburgh. We were able to get him through the 53 cut. So that was something that when it happened was very good for us. I see a guy who works hard. He's got a high motor. He's really learning the game. He's got a skill set like all these young guys do, but all these rookies are really truly learning the game. When we start talking about the pass rushers on the edge, you look at these guys throughout the league, throughout just time. It takes these guys a little while to get caught up. There's a big difference between playing against the tackles and the protections in the NFL versus college. It's just reality is it's very different. Every one of those tackles, they're big, they're long, they're more athletic. They play with better anticipation. Normally it's tough to get these guys off the spot and just go ahead and walk across their face. So you have to have, what's your main move, what's your change up, what can you go to, in a situation. But he's done a good job being productive for us. He's made some plays in the run game. He's made some plays now in some pass rushes. He's doing a decent job for us in the kicking game, like every player. So a lot of things just keep developing. This will be a good week for him in terms of, coming off and have a couple days this bye week of getting a better understanding of some things we get through this stretch of the season. But I see an improving player right there.
Sure.
That sound from head coach Joe Judge was brought to you by Ford. I love that he compared Xavier McKinney to Ferris Bueller. I mean, that's a throwback right there, too. But this week, of course, the Giants dealt with COVID issues. Xavier was one of the players who was out, dealing with that and was cleared, was able to get on the field, make some plays. But as Judge mentioned, they had to have flexibility in the game plan because of the uncertainty of who was going to be available. Amani, what does that do when you're preparing?
Well, it's something that you prepare for the entire offseason. You can't just prepare 1 week. This is a system that you have to have in place from training camp, mini camps, all the way on to let people know that, things are going to change suddenly, and you got to be able to adjust suddenly to people being up in the lineup or out of the lineup. And it's just a culture that they have, and it's obviously starting to pay off a little bit more than it had earlier on in the season.
And I think for me, hearing Joe Judge talk, I heard discipline. I heard about a football team coming out here, only 4 penalties for 35 yards. When they went and beat the Saints, only 3 penalties in that football game. And what a coincidence. That allows you to be 6 for 12 on third down for 50% and hold the Raiders to 33% on third down. So when this Giants football team can control the time of possession and not have those penalties, that's where you see them really control the game and really plays to the strength of the Giants defense.
And they got to win the turnover battle.
Without
today,
a doubt,
winning the
yes.
turnover battle was huge, especially with the touchdown by Xavier McKinney.
Yeah, the pick six was clutch, but as Joe Judge said, they're becoming a much more balanced football team, which is exactly what they would hope to see at this point in the season. All right, we got a lot more coming up on the program. Stay with us as Giants Postgame Live comes back after this short break. But first, salute to service, military appreciation. Before the game, the Golden Knights flew into the stadium to start things off.
Not again.
For the gifts you won't forget, the Mercedes-Benz Winter Event. Get a credit towards your first month's payment on select models.
The Hess truck's back. It's a cargo plane and jet flying through the sky. This year, the Hess truck's here.
This holiday season, Hess gives you twice the high-flying action. The huge cargo plane has lights and a rear-loading cargo bay. Unfold the jet wings and take flight with button and motion-activated sounds. Free shipping and Energizer batteries included. Only at HessToyTruck.com.
A tradition each year. The Hess truck's here.
Happy holidays from Hess.
Are you ready for flu season? With kids back in school and many people returning to work, we need to prepare for both flu and COVID this fall and winter. Protect yourself, your family, and your community by getting both vaccines. Everyone should get a flu shot. And people 12 and older should get a COVID vaccine too. Talk to your healthcare provider about getting both flu and COVID-19 vaccines. Learn more at health.ny.gov/flu.
Let's take it slow. Slow.
Mom?
Wow. And they'll check them both for free.
Yes.
Fix Finder, the most complete free warning light report backed by technician-verified fixes.
There's one thing you should never have to search for: an affordable, comprehensive Medicare Advantage plan.
Let's find a plan that works for you.
Bright Healthcare offers low or $0 monthly premiums for services including primary care visits, urgent care visits, routine dental care, vision and hearing exams, and even gym memberships. Medicare's annual enrollment period ends December 7th. You can enroll in person, online, or over the phone. Call the number on your screen or visit us online today.
Every new day offers opportunities to connect with promotional products that motivate, inspire, and express well-deserved thank yous. Meaningful moments start at 4imprint.com. 4imprint, for certain.
Today's game between the Giants and Raiders was presented by Verizon 5G. Verizon gives more to military and veteran families. Giants coming away with a 23-16 win over the visiting Las Vegas Raiders. And Giants quarterback Daniel Jones is now addressing the media. Let's send it down to the podium to hear from DJ.
Yeah, he did a great job going up and making a play. You know, he just trying to throw it up and give him a chance, and you know, he did the rest. So a heck of a play by him right there.
What does it mean for you guys to bring the to bring the win into the bye week?
Yeah, I think it's big for us to get this one, and you know, a complete team win, and you know, something we can build off of. So still a lot of things we got to work on and work to improve that we'll look to do over this week, but you know, it feels good to get a win.
Dan, did you find you needed to be very patient in this game? I mean, you didn't throw an incompletion in the first half, but you know, there wasn't a lot of points. A lot of times you had to lean on the running game. You know, there was not a lot of production maybe from you offensively, but you know, it was kind of a game you had to like grind through and stay close and not you know, do anything crazy.
Yeah, you know, they're a good defense. You know, kind of their scheme and what they do lends itself to that, and we knew it was going to be one of those games. I think the guys up front did an incredible job getting movement, opening up holes, and then you know, Book and you know, Eli did a great job hitting them. So you know, credit to them, and you know, they're a good defense also.
You have a lot of you know, adversity this week as a team with all the COVID stuff and the tests. I mean, what does it tell you about your group that you kind of grinded through that and responded the way you did today?
Yeah, I think it's just a credit to you know, the focus of the group and guys you know, preparing despite you know, being out of the building or you know, whatever was going on, just kind of staying focused on what we were doing and making sure you know, we were ready to go. So you know, you're going to have stuff like that come up, and it's, you know, about being able to deal with it and still get done what you need to get done throughout the week.
That sound from Giants quarterback Daniel Jones is brought to you by Ford. And guys, Daniel started off today very strong, very efficient, very accurate in today's game. He seemed very locked in. Was that accurate?
No doubt about it. And the one thing that I loved that got better as this game progressed was his pocket presence, when to step up, when to make and elude the rush, when to get outside of the pocket, but most importantly, not forcing the football downfield. There was a lot of times where you saw Daniel looking to throw, and he's like, okay, I'm just going to throw it out of bounds, and we're going to live for second down. When you do that and you don't have to chase the chains and you don't turn the football over, once again, that's what allows that offensive line to be aggressive. And when they got that run game going, when you can play action with Daniel Jones and change the launch point, that once again plays to the strength of this Giants offensive line.
Yeah, I see Daniel Jones as a quarterback, you know, maturing before our eyes. I just can't wait to see what he's really going to be as a player. 20 pass attempts is not really what you expect out of a top-line quarterback in the NFL. He did complete 15%, 110 yards. That's not what you're, you know, I mean, you're looking for more production at that quarterback position, even though he rushed for 28. But I'm just waiting to see him really come out of his shell and be the dominant player that a lot of people in this organization feel that he can be.
Even though only 110 yards on 15 of 20 passing, though, the Giants got the ground game going, too. 149 yards on the ground, and that balanced attack for the offense helped Daniel Jones, as you mentioned, the maturing and the decision-making be a bit stronger, don't you think?
It did, and this is what they had to do to win this particular game, you know. But what I want to see is them not, you know, restricting his throwing down the field, not kind of, you know, forcing with the extra lineman, making him just, you know, 1-2 route, done two people that run on a route. I want to see him changing protections. I want to see him, going through his progressions all the time and making the good decisions that we expect a professional quarterback to make.
Yeah, I understand that, but at the same time, when we talked right after that Carolina game, what did we talk about? The balance, getting back to running the football, playing to the strengths of the offensive line, because that was one of the issues when we looked at that stretch in the fourth quarter versus Kansas City. The protection wasn't there for Daniel Jones. So when you minimize that and you make sure, okay, we're going to go jumbo tight end, and you dink and dunk your way out of it when you're leading in a football game, that's what allows this defense to have the flexibility.
Yeah,
on the
almost
back
every
end.
play you're hearing 79 is an eligible receiver. They're getting that jumbo protection out there, Amani.
But, this is how it is in New York, right?
Yeah.
It's like, there's a little bit of success, and you want more.
Of course.
I want more out of Daniel Jones. Even though he's doing great, he's doing well, I just want more because we know it's in him.
Now in 2 weeks when we face the defending Super Bowl champions, now we'll have another discussion about that.
That's what I'm saying.
That'll be another temperature check right now. But hey, something to hang your hat on. Giants had 0 penalties in the second half of this game. That's a great thing to build off as we head into the bye. But we've got a lot more coming up on the program. After this break, we'll hear from Xavier McKinney and much more as Giants Postgame Live presented by Mercedes-Benz continues after this.
90 years in the game.
And counting. This is our house. We built this house.
It wasn't easy.
We had to rewrite the playbook.
You gotta have the right plays. That's how you do it.
Who's the MVP?
I am.
John.
She is.
Without me, this wouldn't exist.
We gotta bring everybody in.
Because that's how we all win.
In America, the future belongs to everyone, so we built the SUVs of the future for everyone. Ford Escape and Explorer, built with Bliss to help detect vehicles in your blind spot, and with lane keeping system, because the SUVs of the future aren't built for a few. They're built for America. Ford Escape and Explorer. Drive one today. Come into your local Ford stores for special lease and financing options on the well-equipped Ford Explorer. View more at buyfordnow.com.
Truck's back, it's a cargo plane and jet flying through the sky. This year, the Hess Truck's here.
This holiday season, Hess gives you twice the high-flying action. The huge cargo plane has lights and a rear-loading cargo bay. Unfold the jet wings and take flight with button and motion-activated sounds. Free shipping and Energizer batteries included. Only at HessToyTruck.com.
A tradition each year, the Hess Truck's here.
Happy holidays from Hess.
They say less is more, but we believe more is more. That's why we built our sportsbook app for Connecticut with more ways to bet, more ways to fund your account, more ways to cash in, and more ways to cash out. With payouts delivered straight to your bank account in as little as 24 hours. You want more Connecticut? You got it. FanDuel Sportsbook is now available in Connecticut. Place your first bet risk-free and get up to $1,000 back if you don't win.
Hey, Giants fans, it's time for the Hess Toughest Player of the Game, driven by the Hess toy truck. Back and better than ever and bigger than ever. The new Hess cargo plane and jet. And while supplies last, only at HessToyTruck.com. The toughest player of the game, drum roll please, Xavier McKinney. 7 tackles, 4 solo, 2 interceptions, one of which a 41-yard pick six. Brought it back for the touchdown to start off the second half. What a source of energy for this Giants defense. Xavier McKinney, the Hess toy truck, toughest player of the week. And guys, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning of this show, but that pick six at the beginning of the second half, that interception at the end of the half, are really momentum shifters for this team.
No question about it. We know that last year when he came back from the foot surgery right around Thanksgiving, started getting that feel underneath him. We know that he had the interception to close out and win the game in Week 17 up against the Dallas Cowboys. So it's great to see Xavier McKinney get back into the fold, especially with Peppers being injured and taking capitalization of these opportunities right now.
Especially especially with his limited practice time
Yeah.
with the COVID incident. But, you know, the fact that he can, you know, watch on film, you know, not be around the facility until Friday and then come in and make the plays that he made today, it just shows you, you know, that this guy is locked in and he is becoming more of a professional as he matures as a player.
Well, and as the Giants continue the streak of at least one takeaway in every game on the season, 9 games into the season, they've got that streak going. But it's not just Xavier McKinney. Of course, there's a lot of playmakers on this defense. And we got to point out, too, James Bradberry, coming off of his Pro Bowl season. We got to pull up this graphic because we've got a deep dive on some of the stats that he's been able to pull off this year. And it's just what an impact player he's been for this team's defense. But as we see on this full screen right here, he's only the 4th player in NFL history and the first Giant with a pass defense in each of his first 9 games of the season. The 10th player in Giants history with multiple seasons with 10 or more passes defense. And the 4th player in NFL history with 10 or more passes defense and an interception in each of his first 6 seasons. And it's as though his ears were ringing and he knew we were talking about him on the postgame show because he's just stepping up to the podium to address the media. So let's send it down to James Bradberry right now.
Yeah, we were in a cover 3. They ran a double move. I was beat on a double move, and Zay saved my life. So, shout out to Zay.
We've asked you guys a lot of questions this year about your defense not finishing games. What do you think you guys showed by finishing a game?
I think that it showed that we're capable of finishing a game. We got a strong defense, and we're here to compete, you know.
Joe was saying that Patrick was drawing a few plays up in the dirt on the sidelines a little bit, particularly in that last series. Can you talk about that, and maybe if there were any specific plays that made the difference on that last stand?
I wouldn't necessarily say he was drawing plays up in the dirt, but we was going over some calls that we might had in game plan to run this week that we might have ran in like past weeks from the past. So we definitely knew the call, but it just wasn't something we weren't prepared for. But he prepared us on the sideline, and we went out there and executed.
That sound from Giants cornerback James Bradberry was brought to you by Ford. We've got a lot more coming up on the program. After this short break, we'll be back with a lot more Giants postgame live presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Giants.
One thing we know for sure is things are always changing. So there are still reasons you may need COVID-19 testing. And Quest has options for the whole family, available at no cost to you. Simply schedule a test online for a nearby location and get your test results back as soon as the next day. Millions of people like you have trusted Quest for their COVID-19 testing. So schedule your test today at questcovid19.com. That's questcovid19.com.
NFL fans, hungry for a big win this week? With DraftKings, bet $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and if they do, you win $200 in free bets. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, baby. I could go for some chicken. That actually sounds pretty good. Anyway, download the DraftKings app. Sign up with the promo code, bet $5 to win $200, and make it rain with an official sports betting partner of the NFL.
My kid's been in jail 5 years.
The American student.
My daughter's innocent.
For his daughter's freedom,
There's a new lead.
one father must find the truth.
She's my little girl. I'm not gonna give up.
From the director of Spotlight
You're a stranger here.
comes a gripping thriller.
You're innocent. We gotta keep fighting.
Academy Award winner Matt Damon.
Dad, please.
You just have to trust me.
Stillwater.
With NHL Center Ice, you can follow your favorite teams and players no matter where you live. You'll get up to 40 out-of-market games a week, putting you in control of the matchups you watch every night of the season. Watch McDavid on Wednesday, Matthews on Thursday, McKinnon on Friday. With NHL Center Ice, you'll get a season ticket to the best stars of the NHL. Order NHL Center Ice on DirecTV now. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS or visit directtv.com/NHL.
Giants fans, it's that time again. It's time to enter and win another great prize from MSG Networks and the New York Giants. This week's prize is a signed football by number 26, Saquon Barkley. Scan the QR code on the screen with your smartphone or go directly to msgnetworks.com to sign up. And don't forget to include this week's keyword, Saquon. Enter now for your chance to win, and good luck. And as you see right here, the signed football by number 26, Saquon Barkley, is up for grabs. All you got to do is watch, win, and enter this week's code word, Saquon. All right, now we're going to send it back down to the podium as Xavier McKinney is addressing the media.
Long week. Obviously, I didn't get to practice those 2 days, but I was still in meetings, so just try to stay locked in. Obviously, earlier in the week, I didn't know really what was going to happen as far as if I was going to be able to play or not, but just try to stay locked in throughout the week.
Do you use this to get out of practice now next week?
Said what?
So do you use these results to get out of practice?
No, because it's too big of a risk, man. But no, I just, like I said, I just try to stay locked in and, just follow whatever protocols that, the NFL has.
What did you see on your pick six?
Well, I just read the quarterback. I felt Winfro going out, and I was kind of just all eyes on the quarterback the whole time. He was looking it down, so just trust my instincts, and I went and I made a play.
And then what are you thinking after you catch the ball? You see a bunch of green in front of you, right?
Yeah, touchdown. My mentality every time I get the ball is to get yards and try to get make a play, make a touchdown for our team. So that was my mindset through that play.
How about the other interception?
The second one, like I said, I just trust my instincts. I actually told Brad earlier in the game they did the same thing. I broke on it, but they actually threw a back shoulder. And I told him after that, I said, if they do that again, I'm going to be there and I'm going to pick it. And they did the same thing, try to run a double move, pumped him, and then threw it the same way he pumped. And, I made a play, so that's what happened.
Did you save him? Save him because James said you saved him.
I don't think I saved him, but he was there anyways. Either one of us would have made the play, but I told him that I had his back, and he did that, and I made sure that I, accomplished that, and I did have his back on that.
That sound from Giants safety Xavier McKinney was brought to you by Ford. We've got a lot more coming up on the program. Stay with us after this short break. We'll be back with lots more Giants Postgame Live presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Giants. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for flu season? With kids back in school and many people returning to work, we need to prepare for both flu and COVID this fall and winter. Protect yourself, your family, and your community by getting both vaccines. Everyone should get a flu shot. And people 12 and older should get a COVID vaccine too. Talk to your healthcare provider about getting both flu and COVID-19 vaccines. Learn more at health.ny.gov/flu.
Truck's back, it's a cargo plane and jet flying through the sky. This year, the Hess Truck's here.
This holiday season, Hess gives you twice the high-flying action. The huge cargo plane has lights and a rear-loading cargo bay. Unfold the jet wings and take flight with button and motion-activated sounds. Free shipping and Energizer batteries included. Only at HessToyTruck.com.
A tradition each year, the Hess Truck's here.
Happy holidays from Hess.
On this field, they know me by my name and my number. I put in the work, and yeah, I'm proud of my accomplishments. I retired from the game, but not from wanting to achieve more. I'm on my business journey now, and my banking partner is Investors Bank. They give me the tools and the resources to reach my business goals. For what I do now and what I'll do next, I count on Investors Bank.
This is cellulose acetate, a plant-based material that's not only extremely durable, but also quite flexible, making it ideal for Warby Parker glasses, which, by the way, start at $95, including prescription lenses. Try 5 pairs for free at warbyparker.com. Oh yeah, about those prescription lenses. Warby Parker glasses come standard with custom-cut polycarbonate lenses that have been treated with scratch-resistant and anti-reflective coatings. Nice. Try 5 pairs for free at warbyparker.com.
What?
go! Trends. 58-16. Tips. Are you seeing this? Guests that know a guy who knows a guy. You gotta be fired up.
The NBA is back. Let's make some money.
Welcome into the better half hour. My favorite time to dance. All right.
Welcome back to Giants postgame.
Really did a great job getting pressure on.
Here's head coach Joe Judge.
Our guys are going to fight straight on through. Made some big-time throws.
We're going to hear from the guy who threw that touchdown.
I'm looking forward to next week and the next challenge.
We've got a lot more coming up on the program. Hey, Giants fans, check out the Eli Manning Show presented by Dunkin'. All you have to do is subscribe to the Giants YouTube channel and catch all the latest episodes, including all of Eli's extras. Eli Manning Show presented by Dunkin'. Who knew? Former two-time Super Bowl MVP turned YouTube star is really thriving in that space. But back to this business here at hand. The Giants came away with a win today at MetLife Stadium over the visiting Las Vegas Raiders, 23-16. Let's take a look at the standings in the division, shall we? The Giants currently sitting at third. Philadelphia is, as we are speaking right now, playing a game. Washington is on a bye. Dallas, of course, lost earlier today as well.
Well, they didn't just lose. The Broncos put it to them in that football game. And when you really think about it, and a lot of people say, well, what's left to play for? You got to remember, this is a 17-game season. This is not a 16-game season. And when you add into the fact that last year 7 teams make playoffs on both sides, there's going to be some wired games down there in the January and February getting ready for the Super Bowl. And we'll see how this Giants team can come off of this self-scouting time during this bye week.
And we're going to see what the teams look like. Like, what's a team going to look like with the injury situations, with COVID? What in the last month of the season, like, teams that are competitive now could all of a sudden be completely, you know, like a preseason team. So there's a lot to play for just to get in that opportunity to make a run at this thing and make that 7th playoff spot.
Hey, you don't want to peak too soon, right? It's a long season. It's a long
It's a marathon,
season.
not a sprint.
Marathon and sprint. Don't peak in high school, you know? But, like, you look at the way that this season ends out, going into the bye week, as you mentioned, self-scout is one thing, but also momentum, right? You want to take away, you want to take some time to take for yourself and, you know, relax a little bit, but also stay engaged. What's the key as a player to doing that?
I think the key really to stay engaged is just to kind of, you know, take a step back, but always keep your mind on and do like a lot of self-scouting. Understand what you did well. And this is a time for you to like really evaluate yourself honestly, and it could really be some growth for each individual player in their outlook, because this game is mostly mental, and it's how you approach it is the success that you're going to have. So if you can get your mind right in this week off, you could really elevate yourself.
Well, self-scouting not only comes to you as an individual with the techniques and fundamentals that you put on there on film, because the back half of the season, you better correct those things, because defensive coordinators, those defensive tackles are going to attack those things specifically. And then you and I both know, whether you're in the offensive room or the defensive room, they're going to break down every scheme, the percentage of success, the percentage of losses, and they're going to make adjustments coming off of that bye. And that's where all that teamwork and that's where all that work coming into the second half of the season has to be paid in full, because right when you come out of the gates, you're going to be playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their home stadium.
Absolutely. And the second half of the season, as you mentioned, starts strong with the defending Super Bowl champs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, on Monday Night Football.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Nonetheless, too. And these guys just had a Monday Night Football game last week. And I talked to a lot of them and said, you know what? You know everyone's watching. You got to bring your best. On some level, do you think any of these guys are saying, all right, I got 2 weeks now to study up on these Bucs, let me lock in? Or is it, you know?
Oh, yeah. This is one that you have circled.
Yeah. You definitely have circled, and you know you're playing the defending Super Bowl champs. So you're measuring your entire season and how you're doing against the team that won the Super Bowl last year and represent the NFC. So this is a game where you can really make a name for yourself. When you play great against the great competition, that's when you elevate yourself as a player and as a team.
No question about it. And you talked about momentum. You go there and play well and play good up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football team. There's no telling what it can do for your confidence down the stretch.
And your career.
And your career. That's true. That is true.
Because all these guys out on this field know that they're putting on tape, not just for this team, but for their career, what they're trying to do. But, you know, you mentioned that self-scout, that time, that preparation. Buccaneers, is there an intimidation factor a little bit, or this team has finished strong the last few seasons?
I will tell you this, I'd be charting Shaq Barrett and JPP and all the pass rush moves going into the bye week without a doubt to give you that one step, that pre-snap look that's going to give you an advantage to win the rep.
Yeah, I'd be looking at their DBs, looking at their defenses, what they roll, what their percentage of blitzes are, just to make sure that I know that nothing in that game is going to surprise me because I prepared myself to the best of my ability.
We know that this Giants team is no stranger to finishing strong on the season. Let's hope that they continue that momentum shift as they head into the second half. But first, we are headed into the bye week, and we are wrapping it up here from Giants Postgame Live, congratulating this team on a 23-16 win over the visiting Raiders. For David Diehl, for Amani Toomer, I'm Madelyn Burke. Now we're going to leave you with a little wrap-up of our Salute to Service Day as the Giants and the NFL honor the military members of our community. We had a lot of things going on here at MetLife Stadium, so you want to check out a package of the best.